about, you already described the classes you took, but tell us generally about your study abroad experience and like, would you do it again? Would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely do it again. I kind of didn't want to come home, but the U is great. In general, you have a kind of a mixed cohort of people that you're with. At least for the U's partner programs, they're all in English, and I could be misquoting that, but I'm pretty sure they're all in English. And so all of the international students of my cohort had to speak English to a certain proficiency level. So we're not taking classes in German because I would never be able to do that. And so you meet all these different people from around the world. We had a bunch of Australians and people from New Zealand, a bunch of, I think we had several Chinese and Korean students, and then several from all over the EU, and some people from Brazil also. And you wouldn't really get that same cross-section just hanging out here in Minnesota. So that was a big benefit, getting to connect and hear about how different law school is all around the world. You get kind of sucked into your this is what law school looks like for everyone mode when you're here in the U.S., and then you realize that it looks so different for people from different countries.
Do you remember anything like striking differences that you, like a specific example?
I think it was just really interesting how they can practice law at a younger age, that a lot of people in the program are 21 because they're finishing their fourth or fifth year of their bachelor's, and that made me feel really old. So that wasn't great. But that they had an idea from a younger age that this was their career path versus graduating from undergrad, maybe working for a few years, and then being like, I'm going to go to my PhD or law school.
I feel like law school is like a fallback because anyone could really get into law school if they put their mind to it. I don't know. I feel like it's not as specialized as people think it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a specialized degree, but I mean, like, it's like anyone can get into it if they try hard enough to get into it.
Right. And you have the people who it's been their dream their whole life to be a lawyer, and then you have people like me who are like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to go to law school now.
Stumbled into it.
So how does it work?
Message for a podcast.
Yeah.
You just want to stumble into something, go to law school.
Yeah.
So how does it work financially? So how much money do you have to like save to study abroad, or how does that work for like campus wise and where you stay when you're in the country?
So for the U's program, at least, you just pay normal tuition, and then they have it worked out with their partner schools as to how much they actually pay them for their tuition. Housing, we were on our own, and that was a little bit of a barrier because you're looking for housing in a country that you can't just pop over to look at the flat. So I wound up subletting an apartment from a Butte Series student who was going on their mandatory study abroad. And that worked out well.
Yeah, that worked out. Okay, I remember you being nervous.
I was so nervous.
We got a drink like a couple of days before she left, and she was like, I don't know if she's going to be there. I don't know if she exists. Like, I just found her online.
What is this mandatory study abroad for this person?
So Butte Series, in their third year, requires their students to go abroad for a semester.
Wow.
Really?
So the student I subletted from, she went to Japan. A lot of them will go a little bit closer to home, somewhere in the EU, so they can just pop back whenever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. It's nice that she went that far away then, because then you didn't have to worry about her coming back into your apartment.
Yeah, I wasn't worried that she was just going to like drop by while I'm like elbow deep in dishes that I haven't washed.
So you have to have a semester's worth of rent saved up to move to Germany. So, I mean, you're talking like a lot of...
Or your loans. I mean, you could you can still use the same...
Right.
A lot of people aren't working
You probably
anyway,
take out more student... Wouldn't you take out more student loans just for the semester
for
to
the
do
sake
the
of
study abroad?
cost of living and stuff?
Yeah, it
Depending
depends on
if it's higher,
where you're going and what your rent looks like. You might have it all saved from your job in the summer, or you take out more loans. There are certain requirements for your visa, depending on where you're going, that, for example, for Germany, you had to have, I think it was 3,000 euro, and proof of that to be granted your visa to stay in Hamburg, because they wanted evidence that you could pay to stay there for that long. And there are certain requirements on how much money you can and can't enter with. Not that it was an issue that I was entering with too much money, because I don't have it.
Oh, but they have a cap? Like you can't.
I think there is a cap.
With like €1 million.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, I'm opening up a casino.
I mean, maybe not in Hamburg. It's a city state, so it's a little bit more. But I mean, in southern Germany, sure, go for it.
Yeah, Bavaria. Ooh.
You're going to get a lot of hate mail from Munich now.
It's okay, no one listens.
You've got one person close to the Alps just being like, oh.
And so you said you hadn't studied abroad when you were an international, or when you were an undergrad. Had you gone abroad when you were just for fun with family or anything like that? And also, did you feel any sort of culture shock when you were over in Germany?
So I had been abroad. Well, if you don't count Canada, and who does? I had been abroad the summer before. I went on a trip with the rowing team because I was coaching at that time, and they went to England. They went to London and to row. So that was a good kind of entree into it, that I wasn't going on my first cross-Atlantic flight not having any expectations for how bad I was going to feel at the other end to go through customs. But that was only a week, so this was my first time really living that far away.
Okay. And have you guys studied abroad, either for your undergrad at all, or gone international at all?
Nope.
I studied abroad in India for a summer in 2016.
My wife studied abroad in India too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa, 2 abbeys in India.
2 abbeys in India.
And where were you in India?
I was by Mussoorie. It's in Uttarakhand, so it's like north. It's sort of like I could see the Himalayas when the clouds parted towards the end of my trip because it was during monsoon. Awesome. It was kind of in the jungle. But maybe for another time, I had a very eventful time getting there because I was traveling alone. So, but yeah, it's a story to be told. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe it'll arise when we do like a cup of shame questions and something will come up. We can only hope.
Yeah.
I'm just going to write one real quick.
Yeah. What was it like in India? Pick one, anyone.
What was the peril?
Did you do a bunch of cough syrup? Because that was what my friend that did a summer in India told me about.
The cough syrup?
Yeah, this was a long time ago. I did not know that was a thing. It was a thing. The pharmacies, I guess, were pretty like a liberal. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Like I know just from hearing like one person who went to my school got really sick, had to go to the hospital overnight just to like be hydrated, and like an overnight hospital stay was so cheap compared to here. It was amazing, and it was it's like a little different system, but she got what she needed and got better. Fluids. So yeah, fluids.
Who would have known?
Yeah.
Probably cost like $5 to get your appendix out.
Yeah.
They'll pay you.
Should have gone there.
They don't know about that.
Yeah.
And so, is there anything else that you did that was fun while you were over there, outside of the law school?
How much fun I had in class?
Yeah. Besides all that great fun you had in class, was there anything else that really stuck out to you?
I got to travel a little bit while I was there. I went on a few weekend trips to Oslo in Norway, and to Copenhagen and to Brussels. Those are really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. It's so much easier to just hop between countries once you're over there. The flight's like an hour, right? And then you're in Norway.
Wow.
How did the workload compare? Did you think to 1L, I guess, since that was your only other law school experience?
It was completely different. The expectation wasn't as heavy on how you should be prepared. It was more interacting in class with what was happening then, and less of a you should read 200 pages before this class kind of thing. I mean, especially for the international students, they didn't have us buy textbooks, which was great because that would have been a huge waste, right? So we had course packs instead. So there wasn't that much material to read ahead of time. And so it was more about being engaged when you were actually there.
Were the classes longer?
It was kind of weird because they broke them up. We had a lot of visiting professors and visiting faculty, or they might be practitioner professors. So sometimes you would have, like my energy law class, we had like 6 or 7 hours of it in one day, but it was once a week for like 6 weeks. And then other classes would be only an hour long, but they were spaced out more evenly, like once or twice a week the whole time.
So do you think you got the same quality of education, say for like your energy law, than you would have gotten it back at the U?
For some of the classes, I would say definitely yes. Classes like energy law, I think, were of a really high quality. Classes that might not be as high would have been the introductory classes, like intro to German law. That is just a much more blanket. I mean, imagine trying to give an intro to constitutional law in 6 weeks with only like 6 hours of class time.
Right.
So it's just by nature a lot more high overview.
What's the biggest difference between the German law and U.S. law?
I have to pick one.
Yeah, just one thing. No.
Well, I mean, it's a civil law system. Well, it's a combined system, but it's a civil law system, and so when they're doing exams and things, a lot of times you just look to the statute and read the statute, and it's not as much, you're not basing as much on the precedent.
Okay.
And that's just a feeling I have. You could have Germans being like, no, that's totally not right. Nein. Das ist nicht richtig.
So did you, was there like a good culture among the students? Did you guys like hang out, parties, stuff like that?
A little bit, yeah. We did some activities, I guess, with the German students, and that was nice. But by nature of so many of the international students and the German students being a fair bit younger, I actually tended to hang out more with some of the Americans who were more in my age range, that we weren't out in the party district every night of the week.
Yeah. Where were they from?
They were from University of Virginia and Stanford and BU and Fordham. In my international student group, there were about 100 of us, I think. And
wow.
of that, probably I want to say like a third were U.S. students.
Oh, okay.
There were a lot of U.S. students.
And then how many German students at the...
At the school? I'm not sure actually on the size of the German students, because we didn't have classes with Beat-Sirius's bachelor's students.
Oh, it's like...
We had classes all self-contained with the international program.
Okay, so it's like a separate
It's like a separate,
program. Okay.
Because they're doing pretty much all of their classes in German.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're learning all the good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah.
Before we begin, please visit us on social media at Cold Call Lawcast. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Tell us what you think of our podcast or ask us a question.
All right, welcome back. So, what law school classes are everybody taking this semester? We just started our spring semester here, and so I'll start over here with Abby.
Hello.
The other one, Al, ask
Hi.
you what classes you're going to be taking.
So we get one elective this semester, which I'm super excited about. So I'm going to take international law. Woo.
Hey.
Nice.
So that's going to be very cool. Yeah, it's Nayland. It's with Professor Nayland.
She has the voice of an angel and also the like personality and disposition as well.
Bless you. Yeah, I'm very excited. She's also like a UN Special Rapporteur. I don't remember which one. Counterterrorism. So like the most badass
Nice.
one. Maybe. They're all badass. I don't want to say that. Yeah, so then I'm taking property with Judith Younger, Professor Younger. I'm very excited for that as well. JTY, as she is known. And criminal law with Professor Blumenthal. And which one am I forgetting? Law and practice.
Oh yeah, who do you have for that?
McGovern.
No.
Professor McGovern.
He's the Harry Potter guy.
He is the Harry Potter guy. That's all I know.
I feel like at the U of M, all the law professors seem to be very quirky. Is that just...
They all seem
That
to have
just
cool
me?
nicknames or
Yeah.
something that they're known about.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's some boring ones, but
All of mine are.
they
But we don't talk about those.
we just
so.
don't talk about them. Yeah.
There's a lot of personalities.
And so, Anthony, what courses are you taking this semester?
So as a part-time 2L, I'm still taking some of the foundations courses. So I'm taking advocacy, professional responsibility, and property. I'm taking advocacy with Judge Morrow again. He was my evidence professor. He's the one that picked me up by my shirt and shook me. So I get to have him
Sorry,
for
what?
have him for round 2. And then for professional responsibility, I have Professor Acosta. And for property, I have Professor Tzo, S-T-Z-O. She's Asian, and she just was accepted as facility for our campus, so no one really knows about her. Other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty intense semester. I don't know if anyone's taken I'm sure some of you guys have taken the advocacy courses, but I'm guessing it's, from the looks of the syllabus, is very like mock trial-y-ish.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
I
of
think
role-playing,
that's-
a lot of opening statements and stuff.
Yeah, like law and practice is going to be similar to that. We have like a mock deposition. We have an actor come in and we have to like extract
Yeah.
information from
And
them.
we like do like opening statements, arguments, depositions, crosses and stuff, and we have like panels of actual judges and other attorneys that actually critique us and stuff, which would be kind of interesting. I did mock trial in undergrad.